We're live.
What up? What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. WNBA show here. We got our guy Ronald Cabang here with us, man. Little duo. You see what I'm saying? A two-man. We running a two-man weave today, Ronald, man. So I'm your host, Jay Money. We got our guy Ronald Cabang, aka Youcapper, talking out these WNBA picks, man. Y'all know we go live every Tuesday and Thursday. We have 5 games today. Can't wait to break them down for you guys, man. A lot of good plays out there, Ronald. But first off, how you doing, brother? Everything cool with you?
Everything's good, man. I think WNBA has been treating me pretty good. I was like on a 11-2 run, but lost 3 of my last 4. So I
Man.
mean, hopefully we turn things around though. But yeah, overall, man, WNBA has been treating me well. Getting things together, hopefully for the late push in the MLB as well. So a lot of things going here. Even though people call it the dog days of summer and all that stuff. So if you're not like trying to get better right during this time when it's
Right.
supposed to be a downtime, man, I
Right.
think you're doing it wrong, man. Like I'm building all my models for the next season and all that stuff too, man. I'm
Okay.
excited, bro.
You building models for NBA for next season?
NBA is actually next. So I already did my WNBA, I did my MLB, and then NBA is next.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, I hadn't necessarily been working like on the games. I just been working on myself, on my mind, body, you know what I'm saying,
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
all
And it
that.
all
Yeah, yeah, for
and
sure.
with me, that all translates to the plays, in my opinion. So we were working out 4 times a week. Shit, sometimes 5 times a week, man. We just getting stronger. Like you said, trying to be stronger and better than yesterday, man. But
Yep.
the people not here for my life story, or maybe some of them might even they here for these little
Hey, hey, no, for real. Hey, for real. Like I just started working out like 2 weeks ago, right? And I feel like I've been sore every single day for the last 2 weeks. Like it's been
yeah.
pretty crazy, but it all helps your like clear your mind, and that kind of
Facts.
correlates. Like I said, the WNBA, I was like on an 11-2 run or whatever it was, and that kind of started when I was getting healthy and my mind was
Right.
clear. So everything is hand in hand, bro.
No, I dig it, man. No, we've been working out the last 3 months, man. My son got a tournament in Vegas, so that's what we've been working up to this point for. So, but let's get straight to it here, Ronald.
Yeah.
Whoa, first game, we're going over here to the streets of New York, my guys. We got the Liberty, one of the best teams in the WNBA, going up against, no offense, Ronald, one of the worst fucking teams in the
the
WNBA,
B
the
word.
Seattle Storm. Man, they're 4-18, going up against the 16-5 New York Liberty in this one. Liberty just coming off a game where they set the WNBA record, 44 points in the first quarter versus the Indiana Fever as well, man. Looks like the Seattle Storm have lost 9 straight games, Ronald. We know that this is a huge spread, land 15, 15 and a half. How you looking at this game, my brother? Do you think the Liberty keep it going offensively? And more importantly, do you think that the Seattle Storm can keep up with them?
This is sort of like a matchup. From a matchup perspective, it's a little bit different when you look at how they faced each other so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
They actually been playing pretty tight. The Storm covered 2 out of the 3, and then I think the Liberty actually went under their team total in all 3 games. And typically when you see a team coming off of like 100-point game in the WNBA,
Mm-hmm.
you're expecting them to kind of let down offensively. So that's kind of like the way that I'm looking in this one. I'm not sure if the Storm are going to do anything offensively to stay within the 15-point spread, because you've seen before, like in some of these games, they failed to like cover like a score 70. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they end up going under. But for the most part, man, like you said, they lost 9 straight, 2-2-1 in the last 5 as far as the spread. If you look at them as double-digit dogs, they're actually 6-2-1 to the under. And then if they're double-digit dogs on the road, 3-0-1 to the under. But if you look at the Liberty, like you said, they've kind of been killing it offensively, and they're also their defense hasn't been super tight. So even on the season, 14-7 to the over on the whole season in general. And then from the spread perspective, as double-digit favorites, just 4-8. So this thing has like a lot of counter narratives to me. But from a matchup perspective, it seems like this should be an under type game. Obviously, there's history with Brianna Stewart and the Storm
Mm-hmm.
there, and the Storm. Maybe this is a personal thing, and that's why they play each other the way that they do.
Right.
But historic trends, double digit dogs going into a game with more rest and having more rest after the game as well. And me and Ski talk about this all the time. This means that the team can put it like 100% effort, right, without
Right.
having to worry about rest. 11-4-1 against the spread. Those teams are also 10-5 to their team total over. That does point towards the Storm here. But like I said, a lot of counter narratives to keep me off of it. But a lot of things pointing towards the under for the most part. Like I said, three times this season they face each other. Storm covered
Mm-hmm.
2. All 3 games, the Liberty gone under their team total. Horston is out for the Storm, and the Storm's defense actually picked up a little bit after they put the rookie at center, Mengiadu. So
Hmm.
I think her being down in the paint is going to help a lot. And then, so for me, I think the total's going the opposite way. I think that the under is going to be a play at some point because it's gone up to 170.
Yeah, the Storm definitely gonna help out with the under as well, man. I'm watching them versus Sky. I'm like, man, their offense is ass, man. Other than Jewel Lloyd out there, the offense wasn't really doing much. Gabby Williams is in the starting lineup now. I believe she's been in the starting lineup for like 2 games now. Obviously, they helped out a lot. Now, I'll say this: if they play the way they did versus the Aces, they could cover this game. I know they lost
Yeah.
that game by 16 points, but they still covered the spread and stayed with them. I mean, if you stand within 16 points with the Aces, then I mean, that's you can kind of say that that's a good game, right? Because they can blow
Yeah.
your ass out by 30, 40 real quick, man. And so, like you said, they've covered, they're 2-1 against the spread so far already this year versus the Liberty. Liberty have not beaten them by more than 15 points here. So
Hmm.
maybe this could be a spot where the Storm sneak in there. We know the Liberty came out there and blew out the Fever because they had revenge in that game. So I'm saying
Yeah.
that's why they went out there and smoked them. So this could be a game where they kind of just not necessarily go through the motions, but kind of just, you know what I'm saying, win by 10, 11 points. I don't have a strong look on this one. I'm not looking towards back in the Storm, but the way that I like to think as far as like these WNBA plays, WNBA games, my thought process, it would be Storm or nothing for me in this
Yeah.
game. This is one of the, I do like most of the favorites today, to be honest with you, but with this particular game, I'd actually, if I'm betting it, if I had a free bet on it, you tell me I get the money, I'd be taking the Storm plus the
Hmm.
15 here, but it's definitely not strong enough for me to put my money on in this one. But when you
Yeah.
lose 9 straight, the motivation is there for you to at least keep some of these games close. You see what I'm saying? They still have the coach in their ear, tell them, hey, look, we need to play defense. We need to try to build for the future, right? So we know if Lloyd get, because this is the thing about the Liberty run up, their defense isn't the best, right? They're one of those teams where they just outscore you, simply
Yeah.
put. So I just feel like if with that type of team, if your defense ain't all the way there, I don't want to be laying 15 points with you because I need you to go in there and lock down plus score, let alone just score. You letting the other team score. So,
Yeah.
but I did still do what you're saying because the Storm going to slow the game down as well, and they're not that prolific of scoring. But if I was betting this game, it'd be Storm plus the 15 or nothing for me,
Yeah.
Ronald. But you saying you
Bro-
like the under, right? What do you think about
Yeah. Yeah.
Storm?
Yeah, I think the Storm, like, so I pulled my model has the line at -11 for Liberty, and then the total at 160.5. The reason why I stayed off the total initially was because Horston's really she's really a defensive minded wing player. She's very versatile for that defense on the Storm
Mhm.
team. So without her, I feel like the Liberty might be able to put up some points, but at the same time, like I said, when you see a team score 100 plus points in a game in the WNBA, for me, I'm expecting a little bit of a letdown and just the historic matchup this season. So, yeah, I mean, I can only look towards the Storm and I can only look towards the under right now.
That's a great point. The last thing I'll say on this one, I think that those are correlated. I think if this game goes under, that means the Storm cover. If it goes
Yeah,
over, that means the Liberty blowing their ass out, man.
yeah,
So it seemed like it could be Storm and under for me. That's the way I'd be looking at this one, Ronald. Let's go over to the next game, man, because we got 5 games today. Let's go
yeah,
over here to the streets of hot Atlanta, guys. We got the Dream laying 7.5 points at the house versus the Phoenix Mercury. And if you like the Dream, why didn't you get on this, man? This line opened up at -4.5. I know you
yeah,
could have got. I know it was like in some of the early books, but you still could have got 5.5 like overnight or whatever. I'll tell you, if you're betting WNBA, especially coming off a day where there was no games, you should be looking to see what you're going to take already the day before. If
yeah.
you're waiting to the day of to bet some of these games,
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's too late. It's just like you're losing a ton of value. You see what I'm saying? If they win by 6 points, you're gonna be pissed the hell off. But what we're doing with this game, Ronald, the Mercury start to play a lot better. Dream had they had this long win streak. It got snapped or whatever. But what do you think about this one? Do you think that the Dream bounced back off these couple of losses to the Sun?
Yeah, I mean, I think this line is tough because the model that I have, it has it at I think it's at Mercury plus 6. I think it was around there. So it's gotten to the point where it was a play and now it's not. It's really like you said, man. Like if you find a soft line somewhere, you got to jump on it real quick. I think that's one thing that you got to do here. Even the total has kind of shifted a lot from the open, but for me, again, I think this is one of those situations where I feel like it's gone too far the wrong way. I do think that the over could be a play in this one. If you look at the Mercury here, their offense really been struggling. They've gone under their total in 5 of their last 6 games, 5-0 and 1 to the under in the overall game as well. So sorry, overall total under, and then the 5 of the last 6 to the team total under as well. During that 6-game span, 10th in offensive rating, 4th in defensive rating, dead last in pace. So a lot of things point to the under. If you look at the Dream, right, they have gone under in 6 straight games. They're during that 6-game span too. Dream are the best defensive rated team, 92.9, towards the middle of the pack in the offensive rating. But when you look at historically, when you see teams like this where there's just like a whole bunch of trends like pointing to the under in recent form, all of a sudden they go over, right? So I look at this trend here. When both teams are coming off at least 4 of the last 6 games going under, and they both are coming off of a loss, this has been historically a game where it goes over at a 60+% rate. So, it's that one situation where it's like, oh man, sometimes it's too good to be true. And then the total has come down even further to give you more value towards the over. So this might be a contrarian look because of, the recent form of both of these teams, but I can only look towards the over in this one.
Okay, yeah, and I could only look toward, y'all know me, I'm not looking at any totals. I don't even cap totals. I don't give a damn about them, but Ronald kills them, though. You see what I'm saying? But I kind of look towards spreads, and this is a favorite that I agree with. I agree where it's going, right? The Dream, this is a bounce back spot. If you look at them after All-Star break, or even before, this team has been playing like, I don't know, Ronald, what'd you say? Like maybe like a top 4 team in the WNBA. They've been balling, bro. Like literally. And I watched their defense, and it's been literally like suffocating, right? So the Mercury, they can't always score. They go through these scoring droughts where they just can't, where it's like a lid on the basket. You see what I'm saying? We know they're not the great offensive team, even though they had that little spread where they won like 3 out of the 4 games. But you see the last one versus the Mystics, that too. I was on Mystics first half and that one as well, man. The YouTube members know, but Mystics came out there and trifectas their ass. First quarter, first half, full game, even with the depleted roster they have. And it just goes to show you the Mercury are not nearly the same team on the road. We know that Tarazi's out right now. Personally, I think they're better without Tarazi, but that's a whole different story there. But on this one, I would be looking towards the Dream. It's not something that I took official. If I did, I would have took it as soon as it came out, right at 4.5. Now it's up to 7.5. It's probably going to move up to 8. I do heavily lean the Dream here. I'm not a fan of getting the ass in on the line, especially not when these games, when the lines were out the day before. You see what I'm saying? So if I was betting this game, I would have sent out Dream minus 4.5 immediately. I would have bet it. I kind of missed it. Can't talk you off maybe trying to do a little money line parlay with the Dream and somebody else that you like. Cannot talk you off that. They are coming off 2 straight losses, Ronald. They're at the house on the bounce back game, but the whole thing is that they do have the Liberty on deck, right? So sometimes you kind of have to look into the future and see who the teams have on deck. You would hope that they won't look ahead to the Liberty because it is one of the top 2 teams in the league. But I think the Dream could handle the Mercury, in my opinion. Parker on BG. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got Gray out there. You got, man, they got some ballers. And Ryan Howard, I don't know why. I love her game, bro. She's like, I don't know why. If I'm at the gym, I'm picking her ass up, bro. She can every time I watch her, she's out there balling, bro. So I think that they can get back to their winning ways tonight. Will they win this by the 7.5? That's a whole nother thing. But heavily lean to the Dream here, minus 7.5. That's the only way that I'll be looking at this game, Ronald. They do have the Liberty on deck, give you a little bit of hesitation, but I definitely think they should win this game and beat the Mercury, Ronald. Anything else on this one, my brother?
No, I definitely agree with you there. I think this is a game that might be tight towards the end, but I think they end up pulling through with the cover there. It might be a situation where Mercury can stay close early, and then Atlanta kind of dominate the second half there.
Yeah, no, maybe Mercury team total under might be a good look as well, Ron. Because I say the way the Dream been playing defense, and then the way the Mercury struggle on offense, that kind of sounds like a recipe for the Mercury team total under. I mean, the game could still go over, but you know what I'm saying? I feel like Mercury team total under would be a good look there, my brother. Let's go ahead to the next game, my guy. Let's go over here to the streets of Chi-Town in this one, man. We got the LA. I always say LA Aces. I don't know why. Las Vegas Aces laying 14.5 on the road versus the Chicago Sky. And it just, I don't know, let's talk about this, Ron, because like I can't bet the Sky. They fuck me off every time. I think probably the last 7 times I've bet the Sky, they've lost. And so look, me and my son watching a game versus the Storm, and I'm like, I want to take the Sky here, but I just can't, bro, because every time I bet on them, they screw me over. Man, these they go out there and blow them out from the get-go. I'm talking about, and they opened up the game as a favorite. They ended as a underdog.
Yeah,
they were up the whole game. I'm talking about they were about like 20 points. They actually showed me something. It's like, okay, Youcapper, she literally try her best to shut down Jewel Lloyd over there. So
Yeah.
they actually played some defense that game. You know what's crazy about this game, Ronald? The Sky played the Aces earlier this year in Las Vegas. Aces were laying 13.5. See what I'm saying? That was at the house, and they only won they ended up winning by 13. I remember Skee saying he was on Sky plus 13.5 that game. Now this one opened up Aces minus 12.5 on the road. This is their third straight road game as well. You really could say fourth straight road game, but one of them was right before the break. So third straight road game. This time they had 2 days of rest. Last game of a road trip before they head back to the house. I don't care. I don't like this spot for the Aces. I'm not betting the Sky, but I did not like the spot for the Aces here, Ronald. Candace Parker just had foot surgery as well. She's I guess gonna be out for the rest of the season, Ronald. So a little thin at the center position. What do you think? Or is there any type of way that we could possibly fade the Aces here, or should we just take them and it's easy money?
This is a tough spot too. Like, cause I agree a lot with what you said, right? You talked about the travel situation. They also had to host the All-Star game too, exactly. Right? So I think it's like 6 of the last 7 games have been on the road for them, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. But
this will be the 6th. This will be the 6th out of the last 7.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of travel, even though they did have some break in between with the All-Star game. But like I said, they've been hosting the whole week during that period. So it's not like they were sitting pretty and just like, chilling or whatever. But if you look at the Aces on the road, they've been really a strong over team. They actually they have the best offensive rating on the road this season, and it's by a big margin. I think they're at like 111.4. Next team is the Liberty at 106.4. They also have the second best defensive rating. So in general, on the road, they do really well. But even with that said, they're still only 6-6 against the spread on the road, and it's because they get all these inflated lines, right? On average, they're favored by 12.5 points in those 12 road games. And then if you look at the Sky side, I mean, obviously they've been struggling this season. The Sky as home dogs just 2-3 against the spread, 4-1 to the under instead of the over. So opposite there. But if you look at them as double-digit dogs, though, 2-0-1 against the spread, 2-1 to the over, going over their team total in all 3 of those games. So situationally, it makes sense that the Sky, when they're double-digit dogs, they take advantage of a team not really focused on playing defense, right? Why would you if you're that heavily favored and you obviously could just win with straight-up talent and you don't have to play defense, right? And this is the last game of their road trip, and they're going to head home, face a strong opponent coming up, even though it's like a few days ahead, but the possible look ahead going home.
Revenge spot too, Ronald.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm
saying.
They
played in wing. That's one of the only
very possible look ahead there. Obviously that schedule you mentioned is rough. The 6 of the last 7 have been on the road. They had the All-Star game. The Wings are second in the West right now, even though I don't think they're going to catch up to them, right, or anything like that. But they are second in the West, so. Yeah, I know. Some things are pointing towards the Sky and maybe towards the over as well. I feel like this is a situation where the Aces are not going to focus on defense. If you look at games with double-digit road favorites facing a team coming off a win, 15-5 to the over, including 4-1 to the over already this season. All 4 of those games that went over in that trend involved the Aces, right? The one that didn't was, I think it was the Liberty. So a lot of things to me pointing towards the over, possibly, the Sky team total over or whatever it might be, but in an over in some way here. It looks like the total has actually come down from open, so maybe you can find some value there.
It's crazy. I was just thinking that same thing, that maybe Sky, because what is Sky team total over? It should be somewhere like 70, like 76 or something, right? What is it?
76.5.
Damn.
76.5 at some books.
I could have been a math major, my guy, but I don't know. I know everybody loves to bet the Aces. Like they won't even look at the game, Ronald. They just like, oh, I'm betting Aces. Simple. I'm betting them every fucking game. Working out for them. I don't think it's a spot. I don't care. I can't bet the Sky. I don't want to tell anybody bet the Sky. They seem to fucked me over time and time again.
Yeah.
But this is, in my opinion, taking the names off of the jerseys, which that's how like the best capping you do. You don't look at the name. You look at the situations. You look at numbers, shit like that, the spot that they're in. This screams possible look ahead, possible letdown spot for the Aces here where, they can still win, but winning by 15 on the road constantly, you see what I'm saying? It's like sometimes they get bored out there. It's like, we kind of just play our game. That's why they don't play the best defense on the road. So Sky team total over Sky with the spread. Them could go 2-0 right there,
Yeah.
Ronald.
Also outside of basketball, the news of Candace Parker also having surgery and all that stuff could also mess with the not chemistry but morale of the team, right? And that could affect how they play on the court.
That's a fact right there, man. They got the Wings on deck. They just lost their most previous loss came to the Wings. And that's who they come back and face at the house. Third straight road game. In this spot, I would never be laying the points with the favorite here. That's just me personally. If I'm betting this game, it's Sky plus the 14.5. Sky team total over, my guys. Let's go to the next game, Ronald. We're going to the streets of Dallas in the D-town, baby. I don't live there anymore, but the Wings been balling, Ronald. They've been absolutely balling. You got really other than the Aces, right? You have the hottest team in the WNBA right now. And this line did open up at 2. It's up to 3.5, trying to go to 4 as well. They've won 5 straight games. They've won the 7 out of the last 8, Ronald. I think they're going to win this one again versus the Sun. We know the Sun came out after the All-Star break, lost to the Mercury. I don't know how the hell that happened. Won 2 straight games versus the other hottest team in the league right now, the Dream, but now they go over to Dallas in this one, and I do feel like the Wings can match up well with the Sun as well, especially with McCowan down there, Kalani Brown. That's 2 bigs up against the Sun that doesn't really have a ton of bigs right now. Remember, right? You know what I'm saying? Ever since Breonna Jones went out, and I think she had 21 points in the last time they faced off. The Wings were getting +6 up there in Connecticut, and Breonna Jones, she balled out, and they only won by 6. So I feel like the Wings, they can kind of match up with them, especially without Breonna Jones. I think this is a winnable game. The line's going in the right way, in my opinion. I think the Wings get it done here. Ronald, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, this one's tough from a spread perspective. I know, I think it shifted a little bit from open. Yeah, so it moved from 1.5 to 3.5. I mean, it's tough if you haven't taken it yet. Like you said, like all these lines shifted from open that you could have got at such a better number. And this is a game where I think they're really evenly matched, and then you have the home court advantage. But now it's to the point where it's past the home court value, right? Right. But for the most part, I mean, shout out to A Wang. We always talk about this when two teams that are high level, right, playing at a good, playing at a high level, like in current form and on the season in general, you tend to look at it as a playoff atmosphere type game, and those games tend to go under, right? So that's the way that I was looking in this one as well. If you look towards the Suns, they've actually gone under the total in 4 straight games on the season on the road, 7-5 to the under. And then if they're playing at least 2 road games in a row, so multiple road games in a row, that travel situation there, 3-1 to the under there. If you look at the Wings, they're play up to their opponent's level, 5-2 against the spread versus teams with a winning record. So that kind of backs the Wings there if you like that. And then 2-0 straight up and against the spread, and 2-0 to the under. I think if they're, I think it depends on the line. I think if they're favored in that spot, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot, I missed the notes there, but for the most part, it looks like the Wings is a spot for the side, but I also like the under. Both teams have been strong defensively this season, both in the top 4 in defensive rating, not only on the season but even in current form. So they're just consistently playing solid defense. And also the last 5 games, if you compare their pace in the last 5 games versus the current season, they've really slowed down a lot. So it might be a situation where they're feeling some fatigue, or maybe they're just really keying in on defense to peak at the right time heading into the playoffs, for their playoff push or whatever it might be. So to me, I would only look towards the Wings and the under, but I like the under a little bit more since we kind of missed the boat there for the spread.
Yeah, and then the Sun going to head back to the house for a little double date with the Lynx after this as well, man. You see what I'm saying? So the way I look at it, man, the Wings, I just feel like they can keep it going here. When a team is hot, like I don't want to fade them. So it's Wings or nothing for me here. Like you said, Ronald, I mean, we hate to continue saying it, but it's like the Wings are at 1.5 yesterday. So, I mean, you can lay the 3.5 now, but it's not that the value's going. It's just that it's like you're asking them to win by more now for when you could have just took it yesterday, man. You know that they hot. You know that that shit finna come in, man. I think the Wings still to play though, Ronald. I didn't play the -3.5. I do like the Wings on the money line, but like I say, it's up to you guys, man. It's up to you. I always say is where like we're not really here to tell you guys exactly what to bet. We're letting you know how we like the games. Yeah, and really, you're supposed to come into this show kind of already knowing what you like. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Like already have an idea of what you like. You don't really necessarily want to be dependent on other people to tell you exactly what to bet. That's when you get pissed off at people like, man, I hate this motherfucker. He got me bet on.
It's I
I
mean
like the Wings.
it's the information that we bring that hopefully
Fact,
you don't already have to help you support your play,
facts.
right? That's pretty much what you're getting at, right? I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. I mean, I was in that situation before. I wasn't someone that always did my own capping, right? I would go figure out, hey, what are you on? Blah blah blah. Does it match up with mine, right? But now, man, when you get to a point where you're really comfortable with what you're doing, you
Right.
can be your own originator or whatever you might be, right?
Facts.
So you mean that's where we're at, right, Jay? I mean, we do our own capping and all that stuff. We don't heavily rely on other people.
That's a fact. You know what? I think this is one of the favorites that I like today, guys. I do like the Wings. I did put a little something on the money line, guys. I did. But even if you had to play the 3.5, I don't think it's that bad. But the Sun are they're no bums. I'll tell you that right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to cover the game or even win it outright and stop this wing streak. But sometimes when a team is hot and playing their best basketball and they have confidence, I just feel like they can keep it going. The Sun can still ball, but this is a game where I feel like they'll miss Brianna Jones. Last time she had 21, they won by 6 at the house. Now it's on the road, and now the Wings are feeling themselves. They have the matchup advantage now with the centers, with the rebounding, with the defense. You see what I'm saying? Sabali going crazy, which she always does. Arike going crazy. So I feel like this is a game where the Wings keep it going at the house. They came out slow versus Sparks, still end up smacking them by 14. They're just feeling too good about themselves right now. The
Yeah.
last few games, 107, 98, 98. They're feeling good. I think the Sun is going to be up against it today. I like the Wings here today to get this win, my guys. Last game up, Ronald. Let's go over here to the streets of LA in this one, guys. We got the spark. Where my motherfucking lighter at, baby? Let's spark up one time. For the one time, baby. I like the spark today. I hadn't been on them in a while. I told people they was gonna make us a lot of money this year. They've been playing like ass. They've lost 8 straight games, Ronald. The losing streak ends tonight. I took them on the money line, minus 145. Sent it out to my guys last night. That shit shot up. It was the spread was at 2.5. It's up to 3.5. It went up to 4. It's up to 4.5 now. And you know what, Ronald? I didn't lay the points with the Sparks, but here's why I don't think you should be scared. When a team is on an 8-game losing streak and they finally get over that hump, they usually blow somebody's asses out. And I like the Fever. I don't like the spot that they're in, though. These motherfuckers just traveled from New York City, bro. You see what I'm saying? Now, I know that they probably could have traveled that same day because it was a kind of an early game or whatever, but still, only one day to get used to going. You literally just went from the top corner of the country
Like
to the bottom
opposite,
corner,
yeah.
the opposite corner. You see what I'm saying? I don't like the spot. It's a total time shift as well. Just play the early game up there in New York. Now you're playing a super late game, late night, sleepy spot. They got Lexi Brown back. This fucking losing streak is in tonight. I like the Sparks tonight, Ronald. What we doing, my guy?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think the Sparks get the win here. I mean, that travel situation there, I actually didn't even think about it until you said it, but it makes a lot of sense there. I mean, Fever, they also, I mean, you said the Sparks lost 8 straight games, right? But if you look at the Fever side, they've lost 9 of the last 10, so it's not like they're
Yeah.
any better at this point. But they're covering the spread in 5 of those games, 6-4-1 to the over. It's primarily because their defense. Their defense is they're pretty much dead last in defensive rating in the last 10 games. And like you said, I mean, their Sparks are finally getting healthy, right? They get Lexi Brown back. This is a spot where they could really take advantage of that situation, facing a team that really doesn't play any defense at all. But I kind of like the over in this game too. I like the Sparks. I like the over. I think the Sparks can go over their team total. Obviously, if I like both of those situations. But yeah, man, I definitely agree with you there. I think Nalissa Smith being out is huge for the Fever there. And I think one thing that I don't know if you think about this, but the rookie over, I'm blanking on her name, the rookie over at
Boston.
on the Fever team,
Leah
Boston, right?
Boston. Yeah.
Yeah.
How the hell you forget her name, bro?
Yeah,
She
I know.
been
I was
fucking
thinking
balling.
about something else. So thinking about Boston. So Aaliyah Boston, when she started the season and she was kind of killing it for this team, a lot of people was like, "Yo, she didn't even do this in college. Like, how is she performing this well?" It could be a situation where she was really overperforming, right? Obviously, a lot of teams are going to look down upon the Fever and they're not going to give their all for the most part. So this might be a situation where that Boston's performance might come down to earth a little bit, and we see her struggle in this spot here. So I think also from a matchup perspective, if Ogwumike is going to continue, if the Sparks are going to continue playing small ball, I don't think Boston can move laterally, right, with Ogwumike. So this is a situation where the Sparks should be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, and I was watching these interviews and shit, right? And so Nika and Jordan Canada, they didn't even know that they didn't know the extent of the losing streak, but now they know. So I know Nika for sure. She was like, I didn't know that it was up to 8, and so now I just kind of feel like that urgency is really going to be there, right? I mean, it's after All Star break. Basically, and they talked about this as well. Basically, every team coming off the All Star break that had a losing streak has ended their losing streak. Even the Fever, right? I know it was against the Mystics in that one, but everybody has ended. Well, other than the fucking Storm, the Storm they're still on theirs, but the Sparks, I really think this tonight. And guess what? I ain't fucking scared. If they lose tonight, I'll double up, triple up on their ass in the next game. They talked about how the Fever play kind of like the same style of basketball that they do. That it's kind of like a lot of their stuff is the spark stuff. So I kind of feel like they know it's coming. The last few days have been watching film. I really think they want to end this streak tonight, my guys. To be honest, and I had to take this. I think Sparks in the first half is the spot as well, because with the Fever travel situation, getting used to the time, you know what I'm saying? Probably not come in here with 100% as far as legs. I think the Sparks actually come out here and cash a trifecta spot. Like if they want to end that streak, when teams do, it's like a smack city spot. You see what I'm saying? They like, all right, come on, let's get ready for this shit, man. So I think the Sparks first half and full game on the right sides here, and I think they go over their team total as well, Ronald. Like you said, the Fever, not the best defensive team. I've seen them play some defense, but just on a night-to-night basis, they're not the best defensive team. This is a spot there. They were playing a lot better, Ronald, without Alyssa Smith, but this is a game. It's crazy because her and Boston had some shit going on. I don't know if you know, but Alyssa Smith's family was talking about Aaliyah Boston, all this other shit, but they actually started to play better without her. This is a game where I think they'll miss her rebounding, because remember, she was one of the best rebounders on the team, other than Boston. So I feel like this is a game where they're going to miss that extra size, and now it's kind of small ball on small ball, which favor the Sparks here. I took them on the money line, minus 145. If you have to take the minus 4.5, I'm not going to talk you off. If the Sparks win, they should win this game by double digits, in my opinion. It's either they're going to win by double digits or they're going to lose straight up. I just took the money line because shit, it was minus 145 and everybody else was hanging minus 160. So that's why you love BetMGM, my guys. That's why you absolutely love them fuckers. But yeah, the streak is ending tonight. They do play the Favor back to back. So if they don't get it done here, I'll take them in the next game. But I think the 8-game winning streak is losing tonight. They're aware of the winning streak. The shit's ending. Let's go, Sparks. They got Lexi Brown back finally. See what I'm saying? It's only her third game back, second game starting as well. So give me the Sparks in this one. If you had to take the 4.5, I can't talk you off. I like him in the first half as well. I didn't take it, but Sparks team total over should be a look as well, Ronald. That's the only thing I've bet today, my guys. Let's get this cash, man. It's time for the Sparks to pay us some money again. Let's get out of here, my guy. Top looks, closing comments, Ronald. What you got going over at Wagers Talk, my guy? Let's get this.
Yeah, over at Wagers Talk, I got a couple of baseball plays that I like, and then the only play in the WNBA that I actually played so far is the Sun and the Wings under. That's the only one so far, but some of these lines have moved to a point where I kind of want to take the opposite way. Like, for instance, the Storm and the Liberty to go under 170, the Dream and the Mercury to go over. Those are the two that really shifted to the point where I kind of want to go the opposite way at this point. But I haven't officially put anything on it. So, but for the most part, Sun Wings under is my favorite play today.
I like it. This is what I bet. I'll tell you straight up what I bet. I took the Sparks full game money line. I took it minus 145. Just keep it. Y'all know I'll just keep it real with you. I still like them on the spread. It's just my money's not on it. Just keeping it real with you. Also like Sparks in the first half as well. I think they come out hot with something. They know they can't continue getting down to these teams. You see what I'm saying? I think this is a Sparks type of game. I think they come out here, cash the first half and full game comfortably and get over their team total over. Only thing I bet in it is Sparks full game money line. And I also did put some on Wings full game money line. It was minus 125 last night. You know what I'm saying? The spread is up to minus 3.5. There is a 3 out there if you have bet online, my guys. But I expect the Wings to keep it going here once again. And honorable mention, I can't bet the Sky because they fuck me off every single time. I do think the Sky are the right side in that game. I don't give a damn about all you square motherfuckers like in the Aces. And then the Dream as well is another favorite that I think gets it done today. You lost a ton of value. Line opened up at 4.5. It's up to 7.5 now. Maybe you could parlay it with the Sparks or something, maybe something like that. But and I lean the Storm as well. Small leans on Storm and Sky. But the 3 games that I would have the most confidence on, first would be Sparks to get the win. The second would be the Wings to get the win. And then the third one would be for the Dream to get the cover over there versus the Mercury and Ella. And would be surprised if Mercury team total went under as well, Ronald. 35 minutes in the books, guys. Let's get some cash. We will win today. Let's get this cash. We're back on Thursday. Let's go, my guys. We out. Let's go.
Peace.